Level 1. The Dreamer. You are 22 years old. You work at a desk in a cubicle that smells like burnt coffee and carpet cleaner. Your manager is 34 and has been doing this job for 9 years. You look at him and feel something close to fear. Not because he's cruel, because he's fine with it. He's fine with the cubicle, the coffee, the 9 years. You are not fine with it. You just don't know what to do about it yet. You make $41,000 a year. Rent takes almost half of it. You eat the same lunch every day because it's $6.50. And you've done the math. You've always done the math. One afternoon your card gets declined at a gas station, $12 short. The guy behind you sighs. You feel your face get hot. You drive home on fumes and sit in your car in the driveway for 11 minutes before you go inside. That night, you can't sleep. You open your laptop and start reading about people who built something from nothing. You don't know it yet, but most people who read these stories close the tab and go back to their lives. You don't close the tab. You read until 3 a.m. You read again the next night. And the night after that. Something is starting that you don't have a name for. You just know you will never let a gas station humiliate you again. Level 2. The Founder. You quit your job on a Tuesday. Your manager doesn't ask why. Your mother asks why for 3 weeks straight. You don't have a good answer, so you stop calling her as often. You take $6,200 in savings and rent a one-bedroom apartment that doubles as your office. You sleep on a mattress on the floor next to a desk built from a door and 2 filing cabinets. You build the first version of your product yourself. You don't know how to code, so you learn. You don't know how to design, so you learn that too. You watch tutorials at 2 a.m. and fall asleep mid-sentence with your face on the keyboard. You eat ramen for 11 straight days because it's 90 cents a pack. You tell people you're building something. Most of them nod politely and change the subject. Some of them laugh. You remember every single laugh. You pitch 40 investors. 38 say no. 2 don't respond at all. You learn that rejection has a specific silence to it, an email that never comes. Then, on a Thursday, you almost don't remember correctly because you were so tired. Someone pays you $49 for your product. A stranger. Someone you've never met. You stare at the notification for a long time. It's not much money. It changes everything. Level 3. The Grinder. The company is real now, which means it can also die now. You work 90-hour weeks. You miss your best friend's wedding because a server crashes the morning of the ceremony, and you spend 6 hours on the phone with a support line in another country. You send a text apologizing. He doesn't respond for 2 months. Your body starts sending you bills. You get headaches that last for days. Your back locks up from sitting hunched over a laptop 16 hours a day. You gain 20 pounds you don't recognize on your own frame. You tell yourself this is temporary, that you'll fix it once things stabilize. Things do not stabilize. There is no stabilizing when you are 1 bad month from insolvency. You hire your first employee, a college dropout who believes in the idea more than his own resume. You can barely afford to pay him. Some months you don't pay yourself at all. You watch your bank account dip toward 0 more times than you can count. And somehow, always right before it hits, a client pays an invoice, or a small deal closes, or a subscription renews. You start calling this luck. Later, you'll understand it was just the math of persistence. But right now, it feels like the universe keeping you alive on purpose. Level 4. The Operator. The business is growing in a way you didn't plan for and don't fully understand yet. Revenue crosses a threshold that used to feel impossible. You raise your first real funding round. Strangers in suits you've never met now own a piece of the thing you built alone on a mattress. You sign documents you only half understand. Your lawyer tells you it's standard. You nod like you know what standard means. You are no longer doing everything yourself. You're managing 8 people now, then 15, then 30. Nobody trained you for this. You learn on the job, in real time, with real consequences. You fire someone for the first time and don't sleep that night. You promote someone who turns out to be wrong for the role and spend 4 months untangling the damage. Your co-founder, the one who joined in year 2 when things were desperate, starts pulling away. Small things at first: missed meetings, short answers in Slack. Then, a bigger thing. You find out he's been talking to a competitor about a job. You confront him in the office at 9 p.m. when everyone else has gone home. He says he never felt like an equal. You didn't realize you'd made him feel like anything else. He leaves within the month. You keep the equity dispute out of court, barely, and it costs you $400,000 in legal fees to make it go away quietly. Level 5. The Mogul. The company breaks out. A press feature runs, then another, then a wave of them you didn't ask for. Money starts hitting your account in amounts that don't feel like numbers anymore, they feel like weather, something happening around you rather than to you. You buy your first real car. You buy your parents a house. Your mother cries on the phone, the same kind of crying you remember from your childhood, except this time it's not about worry. Reporters start calling you a visionary. You read the profiles about yourself and don't fully recognize the person they're describing. He sounds smarter than you feel most days. He sounds certain. You are not certain. You are improvising at a scale that terrifies you if you think about it too long. So you stop thinking about it and just keep moving. You feel, for the first time since the gas station, invincible. You don't know yet that invincibility is usually the setup, not the reward. Level 6. The target. Success invites appetite. A former business partner sues you over a handshake agreement from year 1 that was never put in writing. Your legal team says it's frivolous. It still costs you $1.2 million and 11 months of your life to make disappear. A cousin you haven't spoken to since a family funeral messages you asking for $80,000 for a business idea. You say no. He tells the rest of the family, you've changed. Maybe he's right. Your relationships start to warp under the weight of what you have. Old friends go quiet, then distant, then gone, not out of malice, just discomfort neither side knows how to name. You go to a dinner with people you've known for 15 years and realize you're the only one at the table whose net worth is now discussed in headlines. Nobody says anything about it directly. Everyone thinks about it constantly. You hire a head of security for the first time in your life. It feels absurd filling out a form for a stranger who will now know your schedule better than your own mother does. You stop announcing where you'll be in advance. You start noticing cars that idle too long outside your building. Most of it is nothing. Some of it isn't. Level 7. The Billionaire. The number crosses 10 figures on a Tuesday afternoon during a routine valuation update from your CFO. You stare at the email for a long time. It doesn't feel like anything. It's not a number you can spend, or hold, or really understand. It's mostly paper, mostly equity, mostly a bet the market is making on a future that hasn't happened yet. You realize money stopped solving your problems somewhere around level 5. Now it just generates new problems at a scale you've never dealt with before. You get calls from people who want you to invest in things you don't understand, vineyards, sports teams, undersea mining ventures. You say yes to some of them because saying yes has quietly become easier than saying no, and because part of you still wants to prove you understand money as well as you understand your own company. You lose $30 million on 3 of these bets within 18 months. Your team tells you this is normal, at your scale. It doesn't feel normal. It feels like watching a stranger spend your money badly, except the stranger is you. Your children, if you have them yet, or the idea of children you haven't had yet, becomes a strange new source of anxiety. Estate planners start using words like generational wealth transfer and dynasty trust in meetings you attend, half present, jet-lagged, thinking about a board call in 20 minutes. You wonder, quietly, what it will do to a kid to grow up, never once worrying about anything at all. Level 8. The Power Player. You are no longer just running a company. You sit in rooms with senators and prime ministers now, rooms where the conversation shifts when you walk in. You are asked to weigh in on policy that will affect millions of people who will never know your name was in the room. You say something in a private meeting on a Thursday. 6 months later, it shows up as a line item in legislation. You feel the strange, cold weight of consequence at a distance, decisions rippling outward to places you will never see, and people you will never meet. You give a keynote at a summit attended by heads of state. A journalist writes that you are reshaping the future of the industry. You read the piece on a flight and feel almost nothing. The version of you in the article has stopped being a person and started being an idea other people use for their own purposes. Inspiration, blame, aspiration, controversy, all at once, depending on who's writing. Your calendar is managed by 4 people. Your name is a line item in other people's 5-year plans. You are managing your own myth now as much as you're managing your company, and you're not entirely sure anymore which one is the actual job. Level 9. The Reckoning. It comes the way it always comes, quietly, then all at once. A product line you bet the company's reputation on fails publicly, wiping out $2 billion in market value in a single trading day. The board holds an emergency meeting. Some of them have known you since the mattress on the floor days. None of them look at you the way they used to. Your spouse, if you have one by now, sits you down on a Sunday morning and says the thing nobody else has been willing to say, that you've been present in the house but absent in the marriage for 6 years running. You want to argue. You don't, because some quiet part of you knows it's true. You think about the wedding you missed for the server crash. You think about how long ago that was and how little has actually changed since. A health scare puts you in a hospital bed for 4 days. Nothing catastrophic, but enough. Enough to lie there at 2 a.m. Running the numbers on your own life, the way you used to run them on gas station receipts. Net worth, more than you can spend in 40 lifetimes. Number of dinners with people who love you for reasons that have nothing to do with money. In the last year, you can count them on one hand and still have fingers left over. Level 10. The Legacy. Years pass. You step back from day-to-day operations, not fully retired, but far enough removed that your name appears on filings more than it appears in meetings. You start a foundation. Not the kind built for a tax write-off and a press release, but one you actually show up for, funding education programs in the kind of neighborhood you grew up 10 minutes from and a world away from. You reconcile with some of the people you lost along the way, not all of them. Your old best friend, the one from the wedding, still doesn't fully trust you, and you don't blame him. Your children, or the children you eventually had, grow up seeing a version of success that comes with an asterisk. You make sure they understand early that money bought you rooms and access and headlines, but it never once bought you back a Tuesday afternoon you missed, and it never will. You keep a small, worn photo in your desk drawer from the one-bedroom apartment, the door and filing cabinet desk, the mattress on the floor. You, at 23, looking like someone who has no idea what's coming. You look at it more than you'd admit to anyone. Some days, it's the only thing in the building that still feels honest. Somewhere right now, a 22-year-old sits in a car, in a driveway, after a card gets declined at a gas station. They don't know yet what they're about to become. They don't know what it will cost, or that the cost and the achievement are actually the same thing, arriving on the same invoice, over and over, for the rest of their life. They just know they're never going to let this feeling happen to them again. They have no idea what they're really signing up for. The cycle continues.